India as a work culture has not moved to remote working yet. So I think that was one of the biggest problems when I was switching to remote working, that no one would accept it.
For the past year at Inside IIM, we have been conducting one-on-one career coaching sessions as counsel, short domain-specific courses as masterclasses, and university-affiliated certificate programs. Now, we are extremely excited to announce that we have a new home for all these highly rated programs in altuni.in. So, if you are looking to earn a high salary, get a promotion, switch jobs, click on the link in the description or just visit altuni.in. Thank you, enjoy the video, and don't forget to press the bell icon to never miss an update. Cheers.
Hello all, welcome to another episode of Engineering and Beyond. Today with us, we have a person who started his journey as an engineer but turned his life into something totally different. He is none other than Amlan Mukerjee. He is an engineer, turned a design consultant, turned a UX designer, turned a music producer. There's so many twists and turns, even my head is a little wobbly. Now that the introductions are done, let's start the interview with the most talked about question of 2020. Well, COVID 19. Amlan, so how has it affected your work?
I was kind of worried when it had started, but I can't really do much about it sitting from my home. But because I like the companies that I've been working with, we had some prior commitments and our budgeting and thought process were in place before all this happened. I still have a good runway to kind of fix these things while this COVID thing is going on. And I think up from that, if there are any other people who are in a position to help others in terms of finding employment or working with freelance designers. So yeah, I think those kind of things is what is keeping me busy. So I'm currently looking to hire like UI designers and photographic designers. So that it's still like you're helping other people out, especially the ones who are in financial issues right now, because you can't really go out, you can't find new jobs. Like India as a work culture has not moved to remote working yet. So I think that was one of the biggest problems when I was switching to remote working, that no one would accept it, that it would be efficient. But I feel if you're open to it and there are processes and agreements in place and like how you want to work with it, I think it's doable. It's not a blocker. Like this COVID thing, people shouldn't be losing their jobs. You just have to use technology to kind of find out how your roles can be turned into something useful in this time instead of just like scrapping people off from the company. So I was a bit shocked when people started getting laid off. It clearly shows that startups in Bangalore, which was always my fear, are so bloated with the funding. It is impossible for them to sustain themselves if there's any challenge. Once you go to these Series A, Series C startups, they run on money. It's like fuel. So they're bound to collapse. It's not because of the economic situation, some external thing that they don't have, like rules, regulations, COVID-19, and you're going to get messed up because you don't have a financial runway plan for yourself as a company, and you're hiring like hundreds and hundreds of people every year without taking the responsibility, because they're buying houses, cars, and whatnot on the basis of a job that is in a bubble, and it's just crazy. So I mean, it's important to, like, as an employee or as a freelancer, it's important to keep thinking of the day when you don't have a job, especially if you work in the private industry. That thought will always remain in the back of your mind. But the only way out is to like always be prepared and be financially, sound enough to plan your journey. Like, what if you lose your job or your company puts you off for whatever reason, right? Then you have to kind of work out a way to find the next opportunity. So at least have like 6 months of runway, if not more.
Well, that was some solid advice. Now let's come back to your journey.
So, Amlan, why did you do engineering?
It was like an extended part of schooling, I guess. Everyone was doing it. I didn't have much clue about what I wanted to do at that point in life. So whatever my parents suggested, I kind of just went with it. There was not much thought put behind it.
From where did you do your engineering and which stream?
I studied electronics and telecommunication from college in Wadala, which comes on a Mumbai University. And it was fine. It taught me a lot of skills, especially how to slog it out when you don't know things. But other than that, I wasn't a great engineer. It was just like I got some decent marks in theory, but I knew I had zero practical skills when it actually came to problem solving. And that's why I decided to switch my career into something else that is more suitable for me.
So I see that you have done a master in design. So Willab, have you always thought that design is something I always wanted, but I didn't do it because engineering, parents said it was engineering. So you just went with it?
I didn't have a clue until the second year, and I had some senior friends and they were graduating, and I realized the kind of career path that they're choosing is not suitable for me either. So either I had to work or study something. Again, I was not like very good as an engineer, so jobs were also out of the question. So I needed to acquire another skill. I was always decent at painting, sketching, those kind of things. And I think it was a friend of mine or a relative who suggested, I should try out for design. I joined drawing class at that point of time to learn the basics again and give the entrances.
So how easy or difficult was it for an engineer like you who had a background in engineering to learn things or like understand classes in the field of design?
It was not very difficult. Like the first year of this course that I studied was the foundation year. So it was fairly simple to understand for people from all backgrounds, color theory, forms, shapes, design principles, or things like that. The second year where you have to specialize is where, you get to know what you're good at and what you're not through projects. And that's when I realized that, like when it comes to physical product design, to make prototypes, I have the skills to execute it, but I don't have the knowledge to kind of do the mechanical engineering part of it. I do a bit of electronics, but that's not extensive enough. And then there was a small part of it which was like human computer interaction, which I really enjoyed. And it seemed fairly simple to understand at that point of time. And I'd seen like a lot of other people making careers out of it, and I liked the whole idea of what they talk about and how you go about problem statements and things like that. And I slowly moved my inclination towards that part of design.
Before you started your full-time career in product designing, you have done 5 internships and 2 projects, freelancing projects. Well, why did you
Right.
do that?
When I was in engineering, I was social, but I was not that social. So I had like a lot of time in hand, and I really wanted to do well in my career. So I would just kind of jump onto any opportunity that would come across. And a lot of those 5 internships were really horrible as an experience as well. But that's kind of helped me figure out what like how the industry is structured and where I fit in, what are my skill sets, how are the peers like. And I think the last internship that I did, which was at FractalInk Design Studio Mumbai, they're pretty big now, was like the stepping stone into becoming a professional, I would say, from like a freelancer or a student. Freelancing I've done a lot in college. That was mainly to kind of get some extra money so you can have fun.
How does one get to these projects and internships, like especially like as a fresher?
So I will tell you my approach. I'm not sure if it's gonna work for everyone, but I used to maintain at that point of time a lot of digital presence. Like as in my LinkedIn was always updated. I used to update projects on Behance. Then once I got my Dribble account, I used to upload shorts and stuff. So you have like different sources of leads, and as with time, the quality of your work gets better, and people start noticing. I know sometimes it could be like very self-centered to talk about your own work, but also there's no other way for people to find out what you're doing.
So how important do you think these freelancing projects and internships are is important for profile building and learning?
When you're starting off, it helps you learn like self as a learner in terms of what are your strengths and weaknesses. Because a lot of people are good in execution, but they just can't talk or they can't express themselves, and that creates a lot of problem when you're in an office setting. So I think soft skills are one of the most critical parts of design, because if you can't express yourself and your ideas to someone from a non-design background, then it's very difficult to get through approval cycles, reviews, and those kind of things. So it's important that you share your design with other people, talk to them, get feedback, and be open about it. Don't be scared of getting those feedbacks. So freelancing helps you kind of learn those things, but in like a smaller environment, instead of dealing with a team of 5 to 10 people. And also, like, the money is on the line, so you have to take this seriously. There's no one to kind of help you out if you mess up. So that teaches you a bit of responsibility towards your work.
You were then a UX consultant at early stage startups like in Housify, Grosset,
Yeah.
and Uber Health,
Yeah.
sorry. So first of all, tell me what does exactly a UX consultant does?
It's a diverse role. It depends at what stage the company and what's the product goal that they're looking for. But in generic terms, the idea is to chalk down a pathway for their customers or users where they can achieve their goals, and it's in a way where there's not too much friction in the whole process, and it's a thoughtful way of doing it, right? So even if you're buying something or you're renting something, you have relevant information and interactions that tell you what the product is about, things like that. And that's like the main part of the job. And the other parts that work with it is like, how do you take the organization through that journey? You can't do it overnight. You can't do it like over a week. It's gonna take like segmentation, where you do a lot of project management, plan out a good journey. So that's like the strategy aspect of it, which is also something that I work with. And that changes. Like, sometimes startups have only 2 developers, sometimes they have a lot of developers at disposal, and that will kind of change the way I work with them, and how the pitches would work. But that's the overall kind of scenario. See, now there's COVID situation is happening, and people are trying to buy groceries, medicines, the way they're standing in the line, how they're experiencing the store, whether it's safe, hygienic. That itself is a huge problem statement to solve as UX.